Let's keep going here. 261, 262. Great game. Tennessee and Indianapolis, another two teams fighting here for the playoffs. Last time we saw these two teams match up, Indianapolis went on the road and took apart Tennessee. Tennessee with a nice overtime victory versus Baltimore this past weekend. When we take a look at the numbers of this game, over-under opens up at 49.5 and goes up to 51.5. I actually agree with that move here, even though it is a division game. I still think both of these teams have the ability to put up points. Line goes from 3.5 as an opener to 3s across the board. I still lean towards Indianapolis, but here's the crux of the question again. When you just look at the two teams, hey, just saw them blow it out. Different things change for different games. And obviously, as we take a look at the Colts, Bobby Okereke is going to miss this game. Denico Autry, but also more importantly, DeForest Buckner is going to be out for testing positive for COVID-19. That is a massive loss right in the middle of your line, right? So you're down two of your strongest defensive linemen. Hit the rewind button, Kyle. Didn't the team Tennessee just play without their two strongest defensive linemen? How'd that work out? Yeah, looked at a 30-some-odd-yard touchdown run in overtime to put the fork in the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to open a lot of stuff up this week for the Titans to get after it. The one thing I was upset with, though, I thought we were going to get back Humphreys in the slot, practiced on Wednesday and Thursday, was looking for another limited or full-go practice because not dealing with an ankle injury, a knee injury, it was a concussion, looked like he was cleared. Word came out today. He's not going to play on Sunday, which sort of they said, well, what are you worried about that guy? Two legitimate wide receivers. When you have that pesky bug that's in the slot position as opposed to Batson showing up, this guy's a legitimate chain mover, almost like a faster, better version of Danny Amendola. That really helps over the middle against some of those suspect, guys that you might get in the secondary. But looking at this game overall, I still think we get points because when you take a look at Indianapolis and the Colts offense, the way it operates, Frank Reich comes up with dime game plans after dime game plans each and every week. And even if you take a look on their seasonal outlook here, I'm just going to go for the full games because, he has a bad toe and they're pretty slow. Look at the point structure that they had this year. 20 points, 28, 36, 19, 23, 31, 41. The 10 points against Baltimore was their only downtrodden game. They bounced back with back-to-back 34-point outlets. We say it each and every week, Kyle. You know me. Where do I like Phillip Rivers? At home and in the Dome. Give me the Colts in this game and give me the over 51.5.
Ooh, I think the over is a brave call because I do think Tennessee now can rely more on the run because you mentioned it without DeForest Buckner. So we should see a steady dose of Derrick Henry this week, right? And it's kind of funny you mentioned the 10 points against Baltimore. That's what we said would happen because we sort of worried about that matchup. That's when Brandon Williams is still healthy. Now, what do you do about this Tennessee secondary and this little toe injury to Phillip Rivers? Now, Phillip Rivers is not a mobile quarterback. Tennessee has the worst pass rush in the NFL. We know that. We've seen it week after week after week. They can't get after the quarterback. But Phillip Rivers gets a little bit weird when he's hurt and has to get rid of the ball. He sometimes gets rid of the ball sooner than he needs to because he's so concerned. This is an old man. He's got 45 kids. He might have 15 grandchildren by this point. I have no idea. And I only say this because I'm lucky enough to host a show with him 4 times a week. We all know that I host.
Yes, you do.
I literally host this show with Phillip Rivers. But I still think I'm with you. I still think I'm with the Colts. As long as Darius Leonard's on the field, I think the Colts defense can do enough to stymie the Titans. A.J. Brown, I know he's going to play. I didn't think it was a good sign that he sat out yesterday's practice. I know he practiced today and he's going to play.
He's actually done that, Kyle, a month straight sitting out Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
So it's like one of those weird things. People freaked out like 2 weeks ago. Oh, my God, he's not going to prep. But it's the same mindset that they're going through, I guess. So I wouldn't be too alarmed.
Okay, so that is good to know. This is a great game. This is for my money, when I just kind of look at the slate besides that Kansas City Tampa Bay game, this is the game I'm most interested to watch. I think these are two really sort of, near that top, near right below Pittsburgh and Kansas City in the AFC. I liked the Colts a few weeks ago. I'm concerned about DeForest Buckner being out. I do think Derrick Henry plays a bigger factor in this game. But I just don't know if Tennessee has the pass rush or the secondary with Adoree Jackson still not returning to stop this Colts team. I like what Michael Pittman Jr. looks like, turning into sort of one of these young dynamic receivers for Phillip Rivers. I like the three-headed monster at running back with Taylor, Hines, and Wilkins. I think the Colts win this game, especially at home there. Love the offensive line. No pass rush for Tennessee. Very competitive game. I'm nervous about that over. I would be nervous about the under as well. I got to admit, I'm like 50-50 on that. I think that's really right down the middle. But I think I'm with you. I'm going to take the Colts. The Colts have been moneymakers for us this year, and I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to go with the Colts.
A competent effort. And, I'm a big team total guy, so just scanning through, looking at some of the outlets here, it seems like a high number. Like I try to keep them around that 26 range or less to try to get a team total. But the Colts, that 27.5 point range. But then you look at that Tennessee offense at around 23.5. I do think they get into the mid-20s in this game because, again, you're talking about Buckner is an elite defensive presence. You need everybody all hands on deck when Henry comes to town. And if you don't have that, that's really going to be destructive because now you're looking at 20 carries for 125 yards as a possibility against one of the better defenses in the NFL that might be down, again, a few of their, at least one linebacker and two guys on the defensive line, including their best overall player to me on defense being a Buckner. Let's keep the chains moving here.